Hey, everybody, welcome to the ImprovVO zone. Woo. And today, you have come because we are offering a free intro, and we're going to talk to you about basically a variety of things that you want to talk about and that I've prepared. We are going to talk about what we do, why we do it, and it's going to be about 45 to 60 minutes depending on how many people actually show up. The first half hour will give you some background, play some games if you want to, do some interactive stuff, and then it's Q&A, and we'll finish after that. So basically ImprovVO, or Love That ImprovVO, is a community of voiceover artists who stretch and expand their artistic and creative and imagination muscles, comedic and dramatic, as well as personal and character, vocal range, all of it within the context of using improvisation to help benefit them. And I want to invite Justin and Scott and Sarah, if she's been able to return. I don't see her now. They are people that work with me at Love That ImprovVO. We're going to do some quick introductions, just a short minute, just to kind of let you know who some of the people are behind the scenes. I'm Rebecca, Love That Rebecca, voiceover since 2001 with on-camera acting when I first started, full-time VO since 2009, 2010, depending on what month it is. I learned improv in theater in San Francisco and Los Angeles and did live dinner theater as well. I studied acting in many different ways with coaches and classes, but also at the Meisner Studio in Hollywood. And I founded Love That ImprovVO in 2013, in July of 2013. And all in the fun and joy and wild abandon that is about doing improv and applying it directly to voiceover as much as you can. That's about it from me. Scott, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Scott doesn't have video, everybody. He's just an audio-only guy. Scott, why don't you give us a quick minute about yourself?
Okay. Hey, guys. My name is Scott Lambright-Smith. I've been doing voiceover since 2011 and full-time since 2013, 14-ish. And yeah, I've been doing improv since almost 13 years now. I've been acting since I was 5. My first role was Noah in Catholic school, and
I didn't know that, you guys.
Yeah, that's no surprise. Yeah, and now I'm playing Satan in an animated series that's pitching the network. So yeah, I've fallen pretty far.
Sweet.
But yeah, so I work in commercial, animation, video game, and come next year, promos after some proper coaching and such. So as you can tell, I sound young, and that's kind of my niche, is that young, youthful, energetic market that's kind of big right now.
That's sweet. That's sweet. Thank you so much. I don't see... Oh, Sarah, you're back. Yay!
Yay, I'm coming!
Okay, just while she's preparing, Justin, why don't you give your little intro?
I'm Justin. I'm Rebecca's assistant, and I help coordinate the workouts and other functions for Love That ImprovVO. My favorite thing, though, is just seeing the Facebook. I love watching the Facebook, especially because
our group. We have a group on Facebook.
Well, because you see people talking about auditions that they've got, and the confidence boost that they have. It's just awesome to see people that I don't even know, but then get to know them better on Facebook for all the success that they're having. It's really great to see.
Sweet, sweet, sweet. Awesome. Sarah, you ready?
Oh, I think so. Can you hear me okay?
You sound really far away.
Sorry, 1 second.
Okay. Hey, Justin is helping us run the chat so I can focus on my script. I'm using a script as a vocal talent. I'm using a script today. So if you have a question while we're talking and you want to ask it, you can either use the technology to raise your hand, or you can actually just write your question in the chat, and Justin will scan through there and try to keep up with whatever questions there are. And that's about it on a technical mark. Sarah, when you are ready, we'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself.
A little better?
No, it actually doesn't sound good at all.
Oh my goodness.
I know. let's let Sarah work on that for a little bit. I want to ask the community that's here a question. I want to have some interaction with you guys. So, and Justin, you can go through and turn on video. So for those of you who want to, be on video, we're going to go ahead and turn that on now. And if you want, you should be able to have local control if you want to turn it off. All right. So Justin's going to do that. He has to do it one by one, so it'll go a little slow. But while he's doing that, please look into your chat and answer this question. What is your improv experience? Or do you have an improv experience? No, then just put no. If it's yes, then put beginner, or yes, intermediate, or yes, advanced or master kind of level. Because I would love to know, of the mix of you that are here, since we have a kind of a nice small group, what levels you are, because instead of just Scott and Sarah and I performing for you like little performing monkeys, we can grab you if you have some experience and you can just play with us today a little bit. That would be really fun. So, okay. No, none, nada from Reese. Hey, MJ, yay! I can't hear you though. Oh yeah, we can. We'll unmute you. We'll unmute you eventually. So let me look. Hi. Now everybody's starting to come in. This is fun. This is more fun waiting than in the beginning. It's really chaotic when everybody's there and watching each other. And this is so fun. Yay. Everybody's in their studio. A lot of people in their studio, it looks like. That's awesome. When I see foam behind you, like this bit of foam that you can see behind me, then I know you're in a studio. But other people have studios I can't tell sometimes. So that's the way that goes. Okay. I'm seeing some stuff in the chat. I only see 4 things. So from Reese, none, nada, niente. From Kenneth, minimal, taking a 201 course now. Great, MJ can hear us. And MC Tapera, I'm not sure who that is. You may wave. I don't know if you're on video yet. You say, where did it go? I lost it. Oh, there you are. No experience. Did improv in acting directing class in college long ago. Okay. And Jim says, yeah, about 3 to 4 sessions over the last year. That's cool. And MJ, improv a while back in SF and did a one-woman show. MJ is so awesome. You have to introduce her. MJ is kind of like having a special VIP in the room. So let's unmute MJ. There she is. And you can tell us a little bit about yourself too, MJ, because you're really big into characters and everything. So.
I love characters, and I mean, that's what I used to go to the principal's office for. Get her out of here. What?
Yeah, right.
And I used him in my one-woman show, and I like to work with improv in my classes too.
Yeah,
so we line them up against the wall and
it's a great
come out of himself.
It's a great way to work and develop or work through characters you've already established using improv, because you really give them more depth. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit. But thank you for our VIP being here. I wanted to give her some acknowledgement.
Thank you. I still don't see myself, though. Am I invisible?
No, we see you. We see you. Some people I don't see, but we see you.
You see a lot more yourself than you see of me. I see none of me.
That's right. We can't see. Scott
so I don't know if I look good or I need some makeup.
You look great. You look great.
Darling, you look great. You look fine.
You have a beautiful pink shirt on, and we love that. Cool. So, Sarah, are you here? And can we hear you well? Now Sarah's not even here. So, Sarah, oh, there she is. Is that her? Was that her?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Oh, that's better. You still sound like you're in a kind of a tunnel, but it's much better. Yeah.
Well, so I've never used Zoom before, and I can't figure out how to change the sound settings so that it's using my microphone and not my computer.
Okay, no worries. Your beautiful voice is definitely coming through better right now. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
So tell people how long you've been with us and any thoughts otherwise that you'd like to share.
You know, I have been with you guys actually a year last October. So
wow.
I know.
Happy birthday, Sarah.
I looked it up because I couldn't remember. And I think I did the free intro class maybe in September or whatever, and then started in October. And I haven't gotten to do it every month, but
and that's okay.
It's a year, so.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so awesome. So everybody who's here, you might be here next year, just like Sarah. That'd be so awesome. That would be so
That sounded a little threatening.
No, only you would see it that way, mister. Okay. So basically, that's wonderful. I didn't see anybody with advanced, but I know MJ is really what I would call advanced. And did anybody else, did you see any advanced in the chat there, Justin, by chance?
I did not.
Okay. All right. That's
Rebecca,
cool.
can you hear me better now?
Oh, yeah. It sounds like you're through your mic now.
Yeah,
probably.
I found it.
Sweet. Yay.
Yay.
Okay, cool. Hey, Zoom is not what we normally use, FYI. Just that's why Sarah's kind of doing it. When we will have an upcoming event on Zoom, but normally when we do our workouts, our group workouts every week, those are through Skype. So it's a different technology, and sometimes you just have to tweak the system a little bit. All right, cool. So since everybody's kind of coming from a more of a beginner or intermediate or some experience level, let me speak a little bit to some demonstrations we're going to do. What I really believe that is awesome about improv is that it really helps you create imaginary circumstances in your mind. And for voiceover, that's really important because you get a script and you've got to fill in a lot of blanks. You got to kind of put yourself in a place where you imagine it being real. And improv, for me personally, even though I have acting experience, for me, it just makes that all happen faster and more vividly. So what I want to do is I want to play a game, and I'm going to play with Scott and MJ, you can play with this one, and Sarah, I want you to play. Okay. And what we're going to play is Soundscape, and this is really easy. For those I'm going to put the chat away. I'm going to move the chat, Justin, so I can't see it anymore, all right? So if you need to tell me something, tell me. But for those of you who have video on, you could probably see yourself. If you look at the upper right and you change it from speaker view to gallery view, you can see everybody's face and you can see yourself as well. So it's in the upper right of the Zoom window. It's choose gallery view and you see all the little squares. It's like the old-fashioned Brady Bunch times however many people are here. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to have Scott and Sarah and MJ, and I'll play along. And what I need somebody from that I didn't call on, somebody in the audience, to give us a one-word suggestion for a location, and not a city name, not a country name, a place, a kind of place, a location. Justin, I'm waiting. Bus stop. I heard somebody say bus stop. Great. Okay, awesome. All right, so what we're going to play is Soundscape. Now, everybody else, stay on mute. MJ, Rebecca, Scott, and Sarah are going to play, and we're going to demonstrate for you Soundscape. This is really a basic kind of game, but what's also awesome about improv when we play this is the focus on creating a sound environment, because we're doing this in audio only, which is a really big different thing than when you go to improv on the stage in person. This is the unique thing about us is we get to play with sound like audio theater, or like what did they call that? Just audio theater. I can't radio dramas. Radio dramas. Yeah, that's it. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Soundscape. And MJ, if you haven't, do you know what Soundscape is?
I don't think I've heard that one. No.
Well, you might be familiar with the game, but basically what we're going to do is we're going to use the suggestion of bus stop, and each of us is going to start when I call scene, and you're going to make a sound that you imagine hearing at the bus stop. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a vocal thing you can do, whatever sound you might imagine, whether it's something out there that is not you or whether you're a person at the bus stop. It's whatever you want to do. And usually we can't see each other, so that's kind of something you can just try to forget about for a second. And I'll probably close my eyes because it makes it easier for me to forget about it. But we're going to play bus stop, and you're going to come and you're going to make a sound that you think you would hear. And then you're going to hear other people. We're going to hear, listen, pause, wait for the other person. And now you're going to get inspired by them, and you're going to improv off of that. You may repeat, and we create a rhythm, and we expect to have a rhythm, and then we feel a flow happening, and things change and shift a little.
This is a vocal word. It's a sound effect, or
it can be anything. That's the fun part. You're completely free to choose anywhere you want to go. You can make sounds. You can make weird noises. You can make anything you would imagine and that you're thinking of right now that would happen at a bus stop. So take a moment. I have to take a moment to think about it because I've been talking to you guys. So, all right. So here we go. So I'm going to call scene, and you guys start, and I'll probably chime in. Scene.
Hold the bus. Hold the bus.
Wait. That's not the right number.
No, wait, slow down, wait for me.
Oh. Anybody got a nickel? A nickel? Anybody got a nickel?
Don't you have a pass? Don't you have a pass? Don't you have a pass?
I don't have any change. I don't have the correct change.
Hey, come on, move over, move. I'm in a hurry. Hey.
Quit pushing.
Meow.
Wait a minute. Wait. Oh, God.
Meow.
$3? What?
Meow.
What's talking about?
My token. Who took my token? God, it's on the floor.
And scene. Okay, so that was just it's really fun to play that one because you get to while you're responding. So basically that one is just a really simple example of how we try to also remember with VO improv that we're playing with audio theater or like radio drama, So you want to remember to use mic proximity, move away, come in, and play. There's another way that VO improv really helps vocal talent or VO talent with agility and flexibility. And agility and flexibility are really important. We'll talk about that later, but the game I want to play is called Yes and. For those of you that have video, just raise your hand. Do you know what yes and means for improvisation? Okay, cool. So that is Jim and Kenneth. Do you want to play, Jim and Kenneth? Shake your head yes or shake your head no. Ken says no. I think he says no. Jim,
that's not the attitude you want.
I know. It's a yes and thing, man. Okay,
We
so
don't see no improv.
we're going to bring Scott in. We're going to bring Sarah in. We're going to bring Jim in. The three of them are going to play yes and. This is really simple. This is like the foundation of improv. So I'm bringing it in even though we haven't done any kind of training because it's something you can probably grab onto. Okay, so Jim is going to go last. First is actually we'll let Jim go first, and then Sarah, and then Scott. All right, and we can come back to Jim, or we can call scene at that point. I need a suggestion, just any kind of a suggestion, a one-word suggestion in the chat, and we'll let Justin let me know when the first one shows up. And what's going to happen is you're each going to do a sentence. I'm going to keep this to one sentence. Okay, Jim? So you're going to start. Okay, the suggestion is dinosaur, Jim. You're going to start with any old sentence you can think of with the word, using the word dinosaur. And then from there on, it's just a matter of what Scott says and then what Sarah says in the orders that I just gave before. It was Sarah and then Scott. And then, Jim, you're going to come back. And every time you say the next thing, you're adding to it and you're agreeing with it. Let's just keep it simple like that. So yes, and you're going to use to say yes, and, all right, Sarah and Scott and Jim, when you start your sentences, it's yes, and blah, blah, blah. Jim, you don't have to start that way, but go ahead. Now we're just going to play, and it doesn't matter what happens. See, go ahead, Jim.
Dinosaurs used to be happy.
Yes, and then the meteors came.
Yes, and it burned all their skin off.
Yes, and then they weren't as happy as they used to be.
Yes, and then they stand around in the museums collecting dust.
Yes, and the mummies are a lot more interesting.
And scene. All right. So yes, and is basically playing around and going further and coming up with things that kind of getting rid of the fear in you that says, I have to edit myself, I have to judge myself, and you just keep going. And so that helps you build your agility and flexibility. Agility with speed and flexibility with being open to other things and letting yourself stop judging yourself. And that was just a quick, uber fast play of yes and. Then if we wanted to do a little bit more challenge, now I'm going to let Jim go back on mute, and I'm going to bring Sarah and Scott in to just play a little bit more of an advanced round because they're more, used to it, and I don't have to explain as much. You guys are going to play yes and, but I'm going to jump in sometimes, and I'm going to say change, new response. Do you remember how to play that? How that works? Yep. Okay, so we need a new topic from anybody in the chat, and Justin, I'll let you announce that.
It was Congress.
Oh my God. Okay,
well, guys,
so now they're not going to play yes and. They're just going to do an improv scene with the suggestion of Congress. And what's going to happen is I'm going to jump in whenever I feel like it, and I'm going to have the person who just went last do a new thing. They're going to have to repeat. They're going to have to go back in and sort of give a different response because I'm saying, nope, we're not going to count that one. We're going to do a new one. And that's what happens. They know how to play, so you can just listen along and sort of see how it goes. And scene.
Man, oh man. Political seasons are fun.
Are you kidding me? I absolutely detest political seasons. They go on forever.
New line.
I love political seasons. I wish they would last forever.
Wow, I'm glad you detected the sarcasm in my voice. Anyway, hey, so I'm not a big fan of Republicans or Democrats. I personally like the weird third-party candidates.
New line.
And I'm not a fan of Republicans or Democrats. I personally like, the Queen of England.
Yes, I think we should go back to a monarchy. I mean, this whole democratic thing, it's not working.
Right? And just saying God save the Queen just sounds awesome.
New line.
Yeah, just saying Great Scott it's the Queen is awesome.
I totally agree. And you know what? Speaking of Scots, I love Scotland. I wish we were Scottish because they're just so cool.
Right. One of my favorite things is that they neither have a democracy nor a monarchy. They just have a Scotarchy.
Yeah, and they seem to be okay with their lack of identity. They want to be independent, then they don't, but then they're okay with it. So
New line.
Yeah, they want to be a monarchy, and then they don't. They want to, I think they're kind of wishy-washy, but I guess they're okay with that.
Oh man, I've seen Braveheart. I know what happened last time they tried something like that.
And scene. Okay. Nice work. Okay, so that was just a little bit more of an advanced round. And what we do in improv, VO or VO improv is basically scenes like that, and depending on what level you're at, you get to come in. And the way that helps you with flexibility is sort of adapting in the moment and coming up with something that fits what's being built. So it's sort of like when you're building a log cabin, you stick with the logs. You don't change to cement. You stick with kind of the concept and the concrete part. So they stuck with the subject of politics, which is where they started with Congress. Then the other thing I wanted to mention, and I love that MJ is here because she's a professional character voice teacher as well, is character voices, and using character voices in either narration or in video games or even in animation and anime. In improv, what you can do is you can come with a voice, and this is my voice named Julie, and I really don't have her very figured out. So what you can do is you put the voice that you have, and you change it from being just a kind of a vocal thing that you're doing like a trait, and you turn her or it into like a character who is a really background, and she's like a fairy, and she has wings, and she tries to make everything better all the time. And so you can expand your character voices in your head. You can let them out of your head and play with them with other people. And that's really a wonderful thing to be able to do in a kind of a nice, friendly, safe environment. So you do it and you really prove it to yourself that you can do it and bring in new voices, or you just really exercise the ones you have so you can develop them. I need to develop Julie further. I need to understand who she is, because that way when you are really down the road and you are doing some auditions for character work, whether it be video games or animation, etc., or even in audiobooks, you can have a lot of ideas to offer the writers or the producers or whoever the casting is that are working with you. So we have a game that we play that we can do in character. It's kind of fun. And I'd love it if MJ wanted to play along on this one too. MJ?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. So in this case, MJ is an expert, and I want somebody to give us an expertise, any kind of expertise in the chat. Put in the expertise in the chat, and Scott and Sarah will be playing along with MJ, and they are basically interviewers, and they will come up with more along the lines of why they're there and that sort of thing. That's part of their job in creating a scene. And
it's
MJ,
physics.
Okay, so MJ is a physics expert, And she's going to come up with all the right answers for whatever questions that she is given. And that's her role as being, we're playing basically expert. That's the name of the game. Or brain, you could call it the brain. And she has the answers for everything. And Scott and Sarah, I'm going to let you guys start the scene. And one of you could be a host and one of you could be an additional reporter or journalist, however you want to work it out. And scene.
Okay.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our show tonight. And MJ, we are so glad you're here. It's National Happy Physics Week, and you are our physics expert. So,
thank you. I actually took a physics this morning. Very nice.
So how did you fall in love with physics?
Well, I tell you what, I'm from Italy, and everybody in Italy eat a lot of pasta. They got gluten problems, all the kind of things. So this is how it happened. I had to invent something. I help with these people with the meatballs or the sauce and the wine. It's a gluttonous country. You know what I'm saying? So I saw an opportunity. I jump in. Wow.
Jumped in. Well, the way to take the bull by the horns there. Scott, why don't you start her out with another question?
Oh, yes. I would definitely love to know, what are your thoughts on the dark matter problem we're facing the astronomy community? We're not sure what it is or what it is. What are your thoughts on dark matter?
Well, you know what you have to think about the dark matter in space is we throw a lot of garbage out there. You know what I'm saying? I mean, they think of how many astronauts are up there. People got photos, everything up in the cloud. Well, sometimes the sun will get a little hot, it burns, and there falls your dark matter all over the place. Yeah, we hasn't hit the Earth at all so much yet, but that's where it's coming from. It's your garbage in outer space.
Wow, the garbage in outer space is causing the dark matter problem. I see. I was not.
It's a magnetic force too, because of this kind of photo. Sometimes I get a dark energy from this kind, like porno, particularly, and it mounts, and then you got a bigger glob of black stuff up there.
Well, listen, I got a question over here.
Yes, sir.
Well, as you've heard, there's a rumor in Australia that the water spins around in opposite directions. Mm-hmm. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? I've actually never really noticed it. Are physics really different on the other side of the world? Are they different in Australia?
No, it goes in a clockwise. What the part of Australia what are you in? I see it clockwise all the time. You saying it's going counterclockwise?
Well,
I know. I just remember. Excuse me.
See, okay.
I was going to say dolphins go, they go clockwise.
That's the good dolphins go.
You go the other way.
Yay!
That was fun.
Okay, cool. Very nice. Very nice.
Good job, guys.
Yeah. So we play games like that, and sometimes we can go really challenging. Scott, you want to take a big challenge?
Yeah, I love challenges.
I know you can live up to it. So basically, in this one, we'll let MJ ask questions since she had to ask them, and you can be a character, or you can be yourself, MJ. We need one more subject of expertise, so we get a quick suggestion from somebody in the chat. And Scott, what you're going to have to do,
urology,
you guys, and
urology. All right.
Okay, but what you have to do, and this is the hard part, Scott, is you have to answer every question with a different character voice. So you have to pick characters. I knew you can do it. All right, so MJ, you are the journalist interviewer, and you are interviewing the expert on urology, or this multi-schizophrenic person you don't know yet.
So me, basically. Okay.
Yeah. So MJ, you are going to start the scene. And scene.
Yes, nice to meet you. I have some basic questions about urology as it pertains to the female body and the male body. And why is it that there's two completely different problems around this? In other words, as a child, as a woman, I couldn't piss out the window in the car, but my brother could, when we were traveling. So let's talk about this. Is just not fair. Can we talk about this a little bit?
Well, of course. You see, there's a simple problem. There's urology and then there's myology. Myology has a bit of a snake tube kind of thing. Yeah, yours is kind of internal. That's the problem. And they make a funnel for it now. It's available on Amazon, I think.
I see it. Oh, And where would we get that? Can you let the audience, give us a website, the exact, link to it? Because that would be great. Because we could discuss that as we're looking at it.
Oh yeah, go to www.boobs.com. Boobs.
I think those are a little higher. Isn't that kind of a when you're talking about urology? I'm a little confused now. What the right one, the left one? What are we talking about?
I'm pretty sure it's actually the one in the middle. I think right there. Yeah, the one in the center.
And scene. Yay! Bravo! Bravo! So we try to find different games that have applications in many different ways. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, MJ. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Sarah. And that was just some quick fun games that we could play to kind of demonstrate what we do. Obviously, this isn't a workout, and this isn't a class, and this isn't a workshop, but we offer all three. So I just wanted to give you some sense of it and get you to have a little bit of fun with us. Now I'm just going to give you some quick information, and then we're going to jump to Q&A. All right? So basically, I think it's clear that improv's a good baseline of skill set for a VO person in their toolkit of all kinds of skills that they need. And improv skills are good in session or while directing yourself. They're fabulous to help you when you're alone because you learn to play with other people and create all kinds of imaginary circumstances so that you can spend less time doing things in the booth and hopefully use that time to keep training for yourself and whatever else you need, marketing, whatever. The ability to respond immediately, to receive a variety of direction, and supporting an expansion of current characters or accents and developing new ones. So you can, stretch out those muscles. We believe that voiceover improv helps you with commercials and general acting because it helps you approach a scene or a script with variety and vivid circumstances. We talked about agility and speed. And really, really important for me is something that we haven't touched on yet today. And then Scott and Sarah, I want you to ad-lib whatever else you think is really helpful for you with regard to voiceover and improv and its impact on voiceover. But the one thing that had the most impact for me was helping me be me when I'm doing the copy. Because for some reason, I think that it's harder and improv, maybe I thought through things too much. So improv really helped me just stop doing that and help me just be me and put myself in imaginary circumstances and play in that and then bring the copy in to work through that. And it's a constant thing. It's not a science. It's really a kind of a science art thing. But I really felt more powerful and confident while using improv. Scott, Sarah, what would you say you find the help from?
It's definitely amazingly helpful. I mean, any conversational thing that you get, and it's always, conversational, not an announcer. That just means have fun with it. And, I've heard very, one director that's saying don't ad lib. Most are like, yeah, add a little something. Don't run away from the copy, but add a little personal touch like a hey, or they always write copy like, I was not going to go to the store. And it's like, do they really want to say that? I wasn't going to go to the store. They want to hear that because I was not. That sounds so robotic. But if you do that little shift and I'm going to make this little conversational, I'm going to add this little thing or like, hey, Jim, how you doing? And especially with scripts, a lot of times if it's a phone script, telling your friend about a phone, I pantomime a phone in my hand and a little scroll thing like, hey, check out the new plan from Verizon. It's wonderful. 4G data and everything you need. It helps me.
Yeah, it helps you play and imagine it, right?
Characters especially, you get the giant sword or the axe or the big rocket launcher. Just have fun with it.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's been really great, like you talked about, working on your characters in a safe place to do it, in a fun place to do it, and exactly the conversational. I tend to be the director in my head way too much when I'm supposed to be recording, and I need to separate that. So it's fun just to loosen up and put personality into it, and in a very non-threatening, supportive way. And then lately we've been working on mic proximity, which is really awesome too. So just different techniques that you don't think of when you have a commercial copy in front of you.
Right. Mentioning commercials, it helps you really put that together. Audiobooks I mentioned earlier, and I have other people that have been with me for over a year, and they really like the flexibility it gives them to shift. The characters are a little different. They're usually not as dramatic or comedic as, I mean, it depends on the book, of course, but as much as in the animation and video games. But they do have characters, and you do vocal kind of shifting, and a lot of people have said that the improv really helps them go through that much more easily, shift from one to the next, and keep it going so they have less editing. They can just go from one character to the next instead of having to do all one character and then record and edit those and patch them together. And character voices, obviously, we can play with that, and there's huge benefit to that for you in your career. And one thing, I don't know if anybody's really mentioned it, but John Bailey, who's heavy duty into games and characters, and I think Scott is too, but basically that, you can voice new characters on the fly when you're improving a lot. You can give them something different, if they have something else they're thinking of and you didn't even prepare for it because it's not part of the audition or the gig. And they go, you know what, I think you would be able to do this. And they kind of like ship it to you on email if it's a live session. And you have more courage and confidence to handle those kinds of things and skill.
Yeah, I once booked a game for zombies, so I was doing all the zombies, and they were like, hey, by the way, here's a survivor, do this too.
See?
And then it turned into, here's 2 more survivors. And it's like, oh, thank you.
There you go.
Going from making sounds to actually saying things.
Yeah. So I just wanted to run through, the basics because we don't have a lot of time, and we, wanted to show you some stuff. And then really I want you to just ask questions. So I think I covered everything that I had on my agenda in terms of the basics. And I would love to know what questions you have. Do we have questions, Justin?
Not yet.
Okay, so you can either raise your hand with the technology, or you can write a question into the chat. And I've opened mine up so I can see it. Or just, hey, MJ, yeah. So we can unmute MJ and let her talk.
I was just going to say one thing that's helped me is, it depends on if you want to play with it, is I'm a singer too. So sometimes I'll have like a percussive thing come in on something, or I just did a little zombie girl, and when she says she's going to kill the guy, I just go, and I'm gonna kill you.
Too creepy.
Yeah.
Totally, yeah.
If you just think that he fell down or the character did something, and you can add that.
Oh, yeah. That's one thing that you have a great way to play and practice doing that, and practice with being on the mic and doing that, and other people hearing it and kind of giving you some feedback on how it came across. Like Sarah said, we've been playing with mic proximity, and I call that, using your physicality. So are you all tight and get breathing? They're like choking you. Are you unable to walk because your one leg has fallen asleep, and you're like, oh my God, I can't make it. And you do things in front of the mic so that it sounds like something's actually happening instead of just speaking it and trying to do something up here in your throat. You physically move, right? So that you feel it. Absolutely, we play with that every time, every scene, as much as possible.
A fun thing I love to tell people who are like, how do I get this one on the mic? It's okay. Imagine holding a puppy, and a nice little fresh puppy. Now imagine that puppy's 2 years older. It's always he's so cute. You've got to shift and have fun with that. You're still excited, but now he's a lot heavier.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. So do we have questions yet?
We do. The voice of Rhett asked, when are meetings and for how long?
Okay, great. Who is the voice of Rhett? If you have video, wave your hand. Voice of Rhett, yay! Okay, so 2 people waved.
Identity crisis.
Well, it depends what level. So we have 3 workouts weekly. We have beginner/intermediate on Wednesdays. And oh gosh, Justin, do you have those off the top of your head?
I'm looking at them, thankfully.
4:30
right?
Pacific, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. And that's all the group workouts, the weekly workouts, we refer to them as, are groups, and they are usually an hour and a half. It depends if it's a really small group, it might only be an hour, but they're about an hour and a half. And Wednesdays, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern is beginners/intermediate. Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, was at 1 p.m. Eastern, is intermediate or level 2. The first one is level 1. Level 2 is intermediate or advanced. And level masters is on Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. And those meet, minimum guarantee is we have 3 workouts a month. Usually it's 4. Sometimes in an odd month there might be 5. And we have a pro improviser, teacher, and actual stage improviser named Michael Spara. And he is, I'm trying to bring him in to lead all the master level workouts. What other questions are there? Or what other things do we offer? Was that?
One of the questions was who determines the levels?
Oh, okay. Well, that's really based on you and me and a survey I put together to help us do that. So you would just let us know that you're interested. And if you know that you need to be a beginner and you need to start, we have a Training Wheels Foundations class, so that if you don't have any experience or it's been so long, you really, you need to do it again. There's a Training Wheels class October 17th. And it's a 3-hour class that I go through real detail, and you are totally prepared. Sarah, did you take that class?
Not the training wheels, no.
Not the training wheels. I can't remember. Yeah. Lots of people who are working out now and even at the master level have taken that training wheels class. And that's basically a training wheels for getting all the basics so that you feel like you can go into weekly workouts with some sort of confidence and you're not starting cold. Because the workouts are really a place like a gym. You just go in and you do some stuff and you do some stuff and you play and you laugh and you do some more stuff and then you're gone. So we want you to come in prepared, and that's what Training Wheels does if you don't have experience. If you have experience, you'll be filling that out in the survey that I send you, and you'll be explaining that background, and we'll fit you in either. If you're rusty, maybe you start out at level 1 just for a month or so, and then maybe you graduate to level 2 right away just so that you got all that rust out of your system. Or maybe you're really good, but it's been a while, so you need to start at level 2, and then maybe you'll graduate to masters. It just depends on your experience, and so that's what the survey's about. Did I answer that question? Did I? Okay. All right. Are there other questions?
Is it a class or a monthly cost?
Is it a class or a monthly? Well, it depends. There is a class. The class is a class. And it's a one-time cost because it's a 3-hour one-time class, $99 for Training Wheels. The monthly workouts are $40 a month, guaranteed 3 minimum workouts during the month. And then we also have what I call workshops. These are like special events. They're kind of more in-depth, but they're very focused. And they're just 2 hours long, and so it's a one-time event. We have one coming up called Create Characters that Mike Spara, the professional improviser, is teaching. And that is 2 hours, and it's all about creating those character voices and characters. So what he's going to do is he's not going to talk to you about vocal technique. He's going to talk to you about character development, and using improvisation to either develop something further that you already bring to the table, or that something that you can create live with him. Yeah.
And it's very, very important that a character voice does not equal a character. A silly voice is not a character.
Right.
It's what that voice brings and what the history of that voice has. Because anyone can do, an impression of Yogi Bear. But if you don't have the characterization of Yogi Bear behind it, it's just sound.
Right. And what is another way to say it is I read a lot of improv books too to stay fresh myself. And one of the books I was reading just the other day said it's a character trait is something they do. They might have a limp, they might have a slur, they might have a lisp, but that doesn't mean that they're a character. That's just the way they sound. That's just the way that they walk. There's just something about them that we don't know anything. And he said, or if you have a surfer guy who always says, dude, 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 well, that's just a trait. But if you have a character surfer dude who has grown up being really poor and suddenly becomes a millionaire from winning the lottery, then you have another understanding of that guy and why he's going to say what he's saying instead of just saying dude all the time. Those are really brief, simple ways of thinking about it. Yeah, so October 17th is the class. The weekly workouts are bought on a monthly basis. So you sign up for a month. It's $40 a month. And then there are special events like this that are free and others that cost. What else? What other questions?
We had a question from MC Tapera. Raise hand, so I will unmute you.
Great.
There we
MC Tapera.
There we go.
Yeah, you pronounced that perfectly. Thanks. So thank you so much for this. This is awesome. I wanted to know, just following up on what you were just saying, how you can do some homework to prepare for these sessions, even if you're doing the weekly workout. What can we do? We can read some books and hopefully you have some recommendations, but are there other ways we can kind of make our thinking a little more lateral or whatever to get ourselves into the mindset and understand a little bit about where some of our strengths and weaknesses might be?
Okay, great question. That's kind of twofold. What resources are there? And then how can I practice? I definitely offer some ways you can practice at home when you take the basic what I call training wheels class. And I have been meaning to, but I haven't yet compiled the list of all the books that I've actually grabbed a hold of. But if you want to start somewhere with a kind of a classic, Keith Johnstone wrote a book called IMPROVO. It's like improv with an O at the end.
Okay.
And Keith Johnstone is his name. He's kind of like one of the fathers of theater improv. A lot of stuff is everything is pretty much about improv in the theater or on stage. So you have to kind of understand how to apply that to voiceover. But if you just do some internet searches, you're going to see, you can find tons out there on the internet. And, maybe I can just compile a list of some of the books that I have. They're fantastic. If you just grab a couple of books, you can understand there's some theory and then it's really, though, all about doing it. And it's much more, let's say, it's not like studying for physics, to use an earlier example. You don't study by yourself. It's really about the interaction. That's where it all happens. That's where the rubber meets the road. Because it's all about really not knowing what's coming at you because of the other people giving you the gifts of what they're offering into the scene, and then you having to respond to that. But I have written articles. Didn't I write an article, Justin, about how there are some things you can do on your own?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So everybody who's here today, I'll send you a copy of that because there are some ways you can play on your own and with people around you without necessarily telling them anything. But you can.
Thank you. That would be great. That would be great. Thank you.
So yeah, we can do that. Does that help answer your question a little bit?
Absolutely.
All right. Cool. Thanks.
Our next question is Takia B, so I will unmute you.
Awesome. Yay. Is it Takaya or Takia?
It's Takia.
Takia. All right, there we go.
Yeah,
we were both
it's nice to finally meet you in person.
It's nice to meet you.
Sort of.
Well, sort of. Well, I would say this is as close as in person as it's going to get for a long time since where I am is far away from everybody.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Did you have a question?
Nice to meet you too. Mm-hmm. My question is, okay. A lot of voiceover professionals say that I have a speech impediment and I'm trying to work around that. How would I guess like how would
Improv help you with that?
Improv
I think that is troublesome with the video.
Improve.
Yes. Okay. I got you. I got you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and put yourself on mute because the line is getting really sketchy on your end there, and I think it's just because the video and everything. So that's cool. Yeah. How does improv help you with a speech impediment? It really depends. Really, what you want to think about is, how am I going to use this in my voiceover career? How can I create a career around this, or do I want to learn how to not have it too? And I'm not an expert about speech impediments, although I did go through speech therapy when I was a little kid in elementary school, because I said S's through my snakes were like that, snakes instead of snakes. I had to be taught how to put the tongue on my right place to get the s instead of s. So I don't know what to tell you exactly. Improv can help you by embracing it and playing with it. We have some people that are English as a second language in the beginner level. And we've had some other people come through and just play with improv and, play with it from the voiceover career perspective that they're coming from. It really is something you would explore. But I'm not sure, I don't know you that well, Takia, to give you a better answer. God, my answer sucks. I'm so sorry. I would say you would learn how to maybe embrace it best, because I think what improv does is give people confidence in themselves and being themselves in the voiceover acting roles that we take. I think that's the best way to see it. And maybe you can find ways to use it to your advantage. And I would hope that you'd be also learning how to do it, or to manage around it somehow. But I don't think improv would help you with that. So I hope that helps. I keep looking at the people's squares, so I'm not looking at the camera.
We have our next question is from Kenneth Foster, so I will unmute you when I lower your hand, I lose you for a second. So
okay.
The delay.
There he is.
Kenneth, can you hear?
It's very hard to hear you. But when you first said hi, it was really good. So maybe you have some sort of audio adapter thing going on.
I'm going to switch to the computer.
Okay. I hear you. Yeah.
You mentioned that Zoom was an exception for this kind of a forum. What do you typically use, and is it audio only?
Yeah, we typically use Skype audio only. I do, on the training wheels class, it's a 3-hour class I mentioned. So the first half is an hour and a half with video. That just helps us bond. Since it's a one-time event, it helps us bond and feel more comfortable. And then we go off video for the second half, and it works really well. And it's a wonderful device to do audio only too, which you experience if you chose to right now, and or if you are in the workouts. The weekly group workouts are all audio only on Skype. Right now, that's our platform.
I have some issues with the using on-site webinar tools like Zoom or GoToWebinar. My studio setup, I'm still not.
Yeah, I know. There's always this little thing. That's why I always say download it early so that you can kind of try to work that through. Good point. All right. Thank you. Another question? Is there another question, Justin?
Well, we have one question from, I think it said Tanya. Tanya said that, reporting from Germany, sorry I'm late, I went out to the movie and just came back. What's the topic today? I believe that we're actually, since we're recording this, is this one also going up on
I'll decide afterwards.
Okay.
I want to make sure I don't have big technical glitches.
The last one was.
Yeah, it was. And it's still on the website. The last free intro we did was September 9th. And this is the last one in October 9th that we're doing this year. And probably I'll put this online. I just want to make sure I didn't have any big technical glitches before I promise that I'm going to do that.
So I am going to get the link for that.
Okay.
Maybe. I won't.
Does anybody have, well, you can do that later.
Right.
Does anybody have any other questions? All right. MJ, did you have anything you wanted to ask?
Let's see.
All right. Okay, no worries. All right.
I got to get over to the studio.
Okay.
Fun. I mean, I think that we should look at this profession as having fun, trying new things.
It's really about trying and playing in the sandbox. I always use that, the sandbox. It's, like when you were a little kid, you played in the sandbox maybe, or went to the playground. And that's basically what we do with improv. We try to make it, we don't focus on comedy. That's one thing I really like people to know is we aren't focusing on trying to make you a comedian. That is not what Love That ImprovVO is about. ImprovVO is about helping you use improv as a skill that you add to your VO toolbox of skills so that you can feel the difference on working that muscle and adding that to your cadre of things you can do.
Yeah, and I think it's fine in a session to say to a client, I have a little bit of an improv here, or I've got a little idea, can I throw it at you?
Yeah.
So they're not like, oh, she's trying to take over, because I've had a lot of fun in the, different situations where I just say, Kip, what would it be like if I kind of throw something in there? Can I try it? And they go, oh,
yeah.
Oh, shut up. They laugh and they may call you back for a gig. So
another way I use it for, another way I use it that reminds me of something I use it for is when I'm auditioning for something and they're giving you some sort of generic, like Scott said earlier, it's a conversational non-announcer, and then you've got like a couple of lines as an announcer. And so you try to look at the company, and I look at the lines, and I imagine myself in like different circumstances talking to maybe a different person, or just all of a sudden I pick a scene and it becomes really visual for me because I'm a visual person, and I imagine saying these things in a completely different circumstance to either get a second take or end up having just one that I like better. That's just from an auditioning standpoint because I was just doing that. So I was thinking about that. So there are many, many subtle and obvious ways that we use improv. And we are about at the top of the hour. So we've been here for an hour, and I think we're good. And so if you have any interest in joining us on the Training Wheels beginner class, October 17th, it's the last one of the year. The next one will be till the end of January. And then I might not be offering them after that for a long time. So if you're interested, then go to the website. And Justin, do you have that link available? So it's in the chat. If you go to the Zoom chat, down below all the pictures, if you go down there with your mouse, you'll end up seeing a whole bunch of options there, and chat shows up, and you can pull up your chat and see what's there. You just put that in. It's called the Foundations class. Also, if you have some experience and you'd like to play with us in a Create Characters workshop that's 2 hours, it's only $40. You do need to have some improv experience. And if you haven't taken Training Wheels or worked out with us, you would fill out that same survey I referred to earlier. And that link is going to be there in a moment, and that's on October 26th. I don't remember what time that is, but you can find out about it, and he just put the link in there. It's called Create Characters Workshop, and you can join us for that if you have experience. All right. Well, that's about it. So I really appreciate you coming and spending some time with me. And I love playing with Scott and Sarah. And thank you, MJ, for also, Scott, Sarah, would you like to say anything at the end since you guys have been with me for a while? Would you like to throw in anything else?
Yeah, improv's a lot of fun as long as you let yourself have fun.
Yeah. Totally.
And for anybody who's kind of like on the fence, you don't know, when I first started acting, I was scared to death of improv, and but it's so necessary for an actor, and these workouts are so much fun and really build your confidence, and so I encourage you to take the jump if you're hesitating.
Great. And that's it then. So I promised it would be an hour, and I really appreciate Scott and Sarah spending their time, and Justin. And thank you all of you, and VIP, MJ Lalo. Yay! We had a superstar. All right, so bye. And you can contact us later if you have more questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ciao, everybody. Bye.
Bye-bye.